Hi people, how are you doing? Yes, out again. Yeah. Some kid is going for their Halloween movie. So, it's one of those these days. Nowadays I do the school runs. Yeah. So there we go. Say hi, they're saying hi. Yeah, guys, so here we are. We're having a good time with the kids. But anyway, responsibilities of looking after kids who are younger than... How old are you guys? Are you 15 yet? How old are you?
Me, I'm 9.
9 and?
11.
And 11. I have a 9 and 11-year-old that I'm looking after. Lovely kids, by the way. Very beautiful kids. Beautiful children. Sometimes very naughty and sometimes very good. I don't want to say anything about them when they're here. But you guys, you see, when it comes to parenting, it's so important, by the way, to be there for them. Yeah, I brought them home, made them a snack, watched a bit of TV. They watched a bit of TV, then now I'm heading off to take them for their movie. And that's my new life, guys. This is a life. This is the way it is. No sugarcoating. This is a life. And normally, this is so different in the UK because, for example, when I was raising my son in the US, you couldn't go anywhere without driving. That's the difference. Over here, you're walking, because most people are living kind of close to the schools, which is really nice. Just convenient. Yeah, so this is my environment. Yeah, there's a campus right there. Eastern Community Campus. By night, it's a campus, and by day, it's a high school. So, that's it. The good thing in this place, guys, it's really good to plan your city so that people can walk comfortably on the sides of the road. Because I noticed, like in Nairobi, nowadays you can do that. I hope they do the same thing for other cities in the country so that people can walk. And last time when I was walking, people were laughing at me panting so hard. So that's it, guys. Stepmothering. Today the weather was fabulous. I didn't have to wear a jacket. It's only because it's evening now. And Jose is at school teaching. He's a linguist. And he speaks I don't know how many languages. How many languages does Daddy speak?
Almost.
How many? Almost 8. I'm telling them I want to teach them Swahili now. Yeah, and they're telling me they don't really care about languages. You like Chinese and French? Okay. Chinese and French. What about you? So here I am, guys. This is my new life. I actually love it. I actually enjoy it. I'm happy. People are all ready for Halloween. And people wonder, why should I celebrate Halloween and I'm a Christian? Or, it's not part of our culture. We grew up in Christian households, so we're told that we should not celebrate Halloween. But my issue is, it doesn't really matter. It's okay to celebrate Halloween. It's just for fun. I tell the kids, we don't necessarily believe in Halloween. We just do it just for fun.
Gifts to children.
Yeah?
They were scared.
Oh.
So they start crying. It's actually happy because they like...
It's an evil holiday.
Yeah.
So he's an evil guy, this Halloween guy. He likes to see kids crying. Wow, that doesn't sound like a nice guy.
But he became really popular because Father Christmas, what's his name? Father Christmas became his friend, so they became popular at the same day. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm starting to get used to this neighborhood, you guys. So you guys, when I get to the house now, what do you want to eat? Chapati. Yesterday they ate a lot of chapati and then she went to bed straight, isn't it? Do you like vegetables? Why? Why don't you guys eat vegetables? You don't like them. But do you like them raw? Do you like raw carrots?
Yeah.
Raw carrots. Yeah. I think they like the vegetables raw. So maybe they. Do you like salad? So you like salad? Okay. So I think I'm going to try and make them salads instead of cooking the vegetables too much. Okay, guys. So talk later. Bye. Okay, guys, we're back from our walk. Yeah. With yet another top that I bought, which is quite cute actually. If you see the belt down here, you see it. But over here, I can't really tell because I'm not so big on wearing collars. Need to fix my collar there a little bit. I always find it so difficult to know your size when you come back into the country. You're like, 14 to 16, 16 to 18. I think like I always think I'm an 18. And then I find out that that's too big. Then I wear a 16, and sometimes it depends on where it's sitting. If it's sitting on my hips, So anyway, TMI, too much information. So back to cooking. I'm making chappos. Let me make chappos for these kids, chapatis. Because the children love chapatis anyway. So I like to give kids what they enjoy to eat, what they enjoy eating. Because there's nothing that disappoints me more than cooking for children and they don't enjoy the meal. There's nothing more disappointing than that. So I like to make sure that the kids enjoy their meal. Just like, when you go to the restaurant, you order. And even as an adult, you tend to eat the things that you enjoy eating. So I try to make food tasty and a good experience. One thing I've never ever done with kids, I've never force-fed any child. It doesn't matter how old they are, don't force-feed. I think it's a very cruel thing to do, to force-feed a child. But I know many people will disagree with me on that one. But I feel that it's cruelty because we are all born with different tastes, We have different taste buds. So it's difficult it's not fair to require that a child actually likes this or that. The only thing to do is to make sure that they eat a balanced diet. And there's ways of including foods that children don't like in the diet. One is to start early. But because I didn't have that option of starting early with these children, then coming in later as a mother, as a stepmom, then I have to start later and start introducing them slowly into veggies. Slowly. Like there's this very big book that I have here where we're talking about different kinds of vegetables and fruits, what they're good for, and it's written both in English and in Welsh. It's like one of the gifts that they had when I was organizing when I was organizing their library, because their dad loves books. That one is a bookman, So when I was organizing the library, I found this big, huge book on vegetables and fruits for kids, and I brought it here to the kitchen. So that's the one that I'm using to teach them, about vegetables and fruits, because sometimes when you as a parent says something about it, the kids are like, yeah. But when it's written in a book and it has illustrations and pictures, then they take it more seriously. So today I want us to talk about something interesting, And the main topic of today is I wanted us to discuss marriage. You know how long it takes me to talk about marriage, I want to talk about marriage and marrying late. Is marriage overrated? Is it overrated? What do you think, guys? What are your views on marriage? What are your views on it? I think that people should not get married. Do you think people are happier when they're single? Have you been single before and then got married later and discovered that you wish that you had not gotten married? Or just the opposite, maybe you got married early and also wish you did not get married young? Or what was your experience been? Or have you been married young and enjoyed it? Being married, not married at all? Staying single and happy single? What's your experience? It'd be nice to hear. Put a comment in the description down there. In the comment section, say something about your views about marriage. I really want to understand. I want to know, the people that follow me, what do you think about marriage? Is marriage important? Is it one of your life goals? Is it one of the things that you hope, that you're going to achieve one day? Have you been married before? Have you been divorced? Have you decided that, maybe marriage is not for you? Do you think that maybe marriage is for you, or is marriage for you, but you're afraid of going back into it? Did you make a bad decision once before? You know, being that I noticed that a lot of the people that follow me, sorry to subject you to this, I'm in the kitchen. There has to be some water running somewhere. So a lot of people who follow me are in their 40s and 50s. That's what I saw. There's also a few of you who are younger, and there's some of you who are men, which is amazing, you know. So for the guys on my channel, the question goes to you too. What are your views about marriage? Is marriage something of importance to you? Are you married? Yeah. Based on your experience being married, would you encourage someone to get married, or do you think that marriage is overrated? Nobody should get married anymore. People should just have contracts and just, you know, agree on a period of time, just like a job contract. You know, like 5 years I'm with you, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, if we want to extend the contract, we extend it. Wow. I'm just interested to find out your views, because believe it or not, I'm one of those people who thinks marriage is absolutely fabulous, you know. I am 100% pro marriage, 100%. And sadly, for me, it took me forever to get married. It took me a very long time to get married. I mean, the thing that you really want, sometimes you don't get. You know, I really wanted to be married young. I was even ready probably at 19 to have kids, to get married and have children. Me, I was ready. But for some reason, I don't know, because I think I had parents who had different goals. I had parents who had very different goals for my life. I think that's the case for most of us, that we are living our parents' dreams. We are not necessarily living our own dreams and wishes. So what happened is that I wasn't able really to pursue the marriage the way I wanted to earlier in my life. Also because my parents chose for me to go to university, study, and despite other people telling my parents, hey, you know what, this lady here can get married. I think there were some people who saw me and thought, this one would make a very good daughter-in-law. Since I used to bake, I started baking when I was very young. I was those people who loved home economics class, and I used to bake and cook and stuff. So I enjoyed it a lot, a whole lot. And when people used to come to visit our home, it was always me entertaining people, cooking for them, baking for them. Even my grandma was addicted to cakes. She was not supposed to take sugary things, but she was addicted to cakes. But I feel that marriage is underrated. That's how I see it. I see marriage as very underrated, but it's probably because the way that I grew up with a couple, my parents, and people who know my parents, the Wangatis, they know how close they are. They know how close my mom and dad are. They are so close. And not just close, but they have so much fun together. Yeah? You know those two couples who are always together? Almost like I don't know, even me as an adult like this, I really have almost never seen a couple like my parents, really. They're always together. Since we were little children, I remember standing on the stool to lock the door because they're gone out to party. Yeah. At the age of maybe 4, 5, maybe I was about 6. Yeah, about 5, 6. And they left because my parents are going out dancing, man. And they used to be a dance team together, those two. Yeah, they are so tight. And until today, it's very rare to see one without the other. They're always together, always. There's one time that we went with my dad somewhere to a wedding, and he walked in the gate without my mom, and everybody's like, oh, they were so shocked. Something which is kawaida, something which is normal with many people. My parents, they're always together, always together. So we grew up admiring that couple, and I looked forward to the day that I'll have my guy that I'm hanging out with, going places with, and doing things with. Yeah. Today I'm gonna make cabbage and carrots. British carrots, they call them. British carrots. I wish we would call it Kenyan carrots. British carrots, British beef, British this, British milk, British this. My goodness, they love themselves, But it's okay, it's branding, it's part of branding. It's the British brand. Yeah. So, the day that they say British coffee, that is when we're going to now fight. And British tea. Well, I think they do say British tea. So, but anyway, I always look forward to having my person. And when it did not happen, when I became a single mom instead, when I was young, it really broke my heart, and it broke the hearts of my parents a lot. It broke their hearts a lot because they were hoping that I was going to be married and have kids. And when I had a baby outside of wedlock, they actually thought it was the end for me, that I will never ever get married. Like I will never get married ever. But fact is, I did get married, right? But much, much, much later, after kissing many, many frogs and princes, the wrong princes that don't belong to me, I finally got married. So I wanted to talk about the way that I decided, the way that I went into this whole marriage thing, the way I approached it. What happened is, to cut a long story short, I was in a relationship with a guy for a while, and we even had a daughter, a very beautiful little girl. Unfortunately, she passed away because she had a heart defect, which was not seen, in any of those scans that we went for in advance. Otherwise, I would have had that child outside of Kenya, and maybe she'll be here today. Because unfortunately, the medical system just could not cope with whatever she was born with. Yeah. But I bet you, if I'd had her, like in the US or the UK, there's a lot of regrets, if I coulda, woulda, shoulda, the benefits of hindsight. Yeah. So, okay. Like I was saying, I don't even know what I was saying because somebody knocked on the door, yeah? So I think I was just telling you guys about, the whole decision to get married and how I had this baby and how I lost her. And at the time that I lost the child, my son was 19 years older than that child and was just getting ready to go to uni. So I decided to move to the coastal area. Once my son went to uni, I went to the coast because I decided that relationship with the father of that little girl that I had and lost was not going anywhere. He wasn't really ready for a serious relationship. And for me, I don't like people wasting my time, and I don't like wasting people's time. So despite the fact that we're so close, we really like each other. Until today, we're good friends. I decided, no, this cannot continue like this, guys. Yeah, it cannot. That's what I said. I decided, no. I need to do something about my life and get away from him as far as possible, because he used to come home all the time, and there's nothing really wrong with that. It's only that, unfortunately, that meant that I couldn't really move forward. I couldn't really move forward because he was always there. He's always there. And even if he's going to listen to this, he knows himself, yeah? Because even for his own sake, it was better for us to just be far away from each other. So within that period, I was quite lonely because I was all by myself. My son had gone away to university abroad and I was alone. And so I remember going to celebrate with my parents. Again, it was their anniversary, and every year they celebrate their anniversary. That's how romantic those guys are. Yeah, they're called the British couple. Yeah, so they were celebrating their anniversary, and I took them out. I came back to Nairobi, took them out to a nice club, and my dad made a mention of the fact that he's concerned. What's happening to me? Why am I not doing anything? At that time, I was in my 40s. I wasn't young. I was in my mid-40s. And I told him, but Dad, I'm now in my 40s, and I don't think there's any hope really for me in that sense, since I have a child and all this. And he looked at me like, He told me it's because you haven't made it a priority. It's not a priority in your life. That's the reason why you're not married. That's what my father told me. I felt like kind of strange about that. I was like, he has never ever confronted me. I was like, what? Is that my father, the quiet man, confronting me about the fact that I'm single? Knowing very well I'd lost a baby, knowing well that I'd been in this relationship with this guy, and the fact that I had moved to Mombasa, my dad was just like, no, this is not right. You're here celebrating our anniversary, but what about your own relationship? Yeah? What about you? What about you? What about your marriage? What about you? I think I'm looking at the wrong side again. I think I should be looking over there, yeah? So my dad wanted me, to get married And he encouraged me and he opened the doors and he said, you know, if you put in as much effort as you do with your work into getting married, you will get married. I thought to myself, my goodness, is this a dare? I took it as a dare. And I found it really annoying. I was actually quite pissed off. He'll even tell himself I wasn't happy with him because I was like, Kwani, my dad actually thinks that I don't want to get married, that I can control this. Well, I took up the challenge and I went online. I decided for every time that I'm looking for a job, I'm also going to look for a guy, man. I'm going to look for a man. When you go online and apply for work, over there I decided, let me try also and apply online. Because I remember my mom telling me, have you looked at the newspapers? Even the newspapers or the magazines. There's no, personals. I laughed. There's women to go to the personal ads in the newspaper. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? No way. But anyway, I did that because in the end, see, I went on to one of these internet websites and I registered myself there. And it's not the first time I'd been on there. There's one time that I was on those internet websites a long time ago. A long time ago when I was in the UK, in around 2008, I was in the UK for a job. And again, I was really lonely. And I went online and I discovered this website. That website is actually called Afro Introductions, yeah? And there's another lady, I'll put a link to her channel. She also met a guy on Afro Introductions. And her story is quite interesting. He's a German guy. And they got married and they had a beautiful ministry together until unfortunately just recently he passed away. But I think they'd been together at least 10 years. And she was really happy, really, really happy. Definitely her children had already grown up and left the nest. So me, on the other hand, I was in my late 40s. I don't know how old she was, but all I know, she's still there now, and her name is Ada, really brilliant woman. And she sings pretty songs in German and what I see that is so similar between her and me is the joy. She got so much joy after meeting this guy from Germany. And, I think it looks like a lot of life came back to her. The same way for me. Exactly the same. There's a lot as a single mother that you're carrying that you don't know, in case you are a single mom or even divorced. So that's it, guys. Here are the veggies, carrots, grated carrots and onions, and some cabbage. See? Yeah, making healthy food. Hey, these kids are not going to get away with not eating, right? They'll get used to it, especially with chapati. That's okay. They'll enjoy the food. So that's it. That's the way it's going, people. That is the way it's going. Let me put some oil in here and cook. So first of all, let me look at the time before. Yeah, I think they're doing all right with time. I have to pick the kid up in 2 hours. Ooh, sorry, I don't know what I ate. It's kind of like a mess. I drank some Sprite. Nowadays, this Coke products, they're not making them with the real ingredients. So some of that stuff is acting up with my stomach, and I don't think my stomach is feeling very good after eating that drinking that kind of drink. I'm not gonna even buy any more of that kind of drink anymore. So like I was saying, guys, yeah, so that's what happened. I signed up again. I just renewed my subscription, went back on, and this time I met so many people. I met different guys on there. I even, traveled during that period, and I met a couple of them in person. But interestingly enough, the kind of guys that I was looking for educated. That's number one. They should be educated. So I had my list anyway. Everybody has their list, their preferences. For me, I wanted somebody who was educated, somebody that, we could discuss issues with, either it's politics or it's just about issues to do with life. I didn't want somebody to come into my life and feel intimidated by this woman who has a master's degree. And I know that there's some very silly things like that intimidate people. And I was like, I didn't have time for anything like, so I wanted somebody who's just as educated as I am, so that there will be nothing, hopefully, Hopefully there'll be nothing. Plus, interestingly, I wanted a guy who was not from my country. Strangely, I didn't want to date a Kenyan guy, and the main reason is because I felt that I'd given Kenyan men enough time. I decided if those Kenyan men have not seen me by now, they'll never see me. Yeah? What's going to make them see me now suddenly, all of a sudden? Yeah? So I thought I had given Kenyan men enough time. They had seen me, I had been there, and they had ignored me, literally, for so many years. So I thought it's time to give a man from a different country a chance. Yeah. And maybe, I felt that maybe our Kenyan men, they've been brought up to kind of disrespect women, especially if they have children. If they have kids from a different relationship. In my day, we were really looked down upon. We were looked at as the people who should be the last people to be considered for marriage. I'll tell you a story about what happened. When my son was very, very young, he was maybe 3 years old, or in fact 2 years old, very, very young, I remember. I had strapped a diaper bag on me and attended an event where my parents' friends had invited us. At that time, I was staying at home with my mom, single mom. I was staying at home and we were invited. So, see, I went with my diaper bag and my baby. You can't believe that woman was actually celebrating the return of her boys back from India. All right, so I was very young. I was in my 20s. I think I was like 26, 27. I was young. And these men were also young. They were probably about 30 years old, 32. And the one thing that mother wanted to make sure of was that those kids were not going to fall in love with me. No way. No way. I went with a handbag and a diaper bag. And unfortunately, I took my handbag and put it behind the couches because there were so many people there and I wanted my handbag to be safe. So I took my handbag and put it behind the couch and kept myself with my baby with the diaper bag. You know how bulky it kind of is, and you're in a big group, there's a big party, so many people are here and everything. So what happened is that as I was going home, me with my klutziness, see, I forgot the handbag behind the couch. I took off home with the diaper bag and I totally forgot about the handbag. My mother received a phone call the next day from this lady. It looks like your daughter forgot her handbag behind the couches, and I think it's because she was looking for a strategic way of coming back so that she could meet up with my sons. And she should know that my sons are not going to be marrying a girl who already has a child. Can you imagine how that made my mother feel? That woman she did not tell my mother direct. She told my mother's friend. Okay, she told my mother's friend that I deliberately left my handbag so that I could go back on a different occasion to meet up with her boys who had come back from. Do you know the insult I felt? On that day, I said, I never want to be married to a man whose mother is alive. I'm telling you, on that day, that was it with me and mothers-in-law. I was like, wow. Women are women's worst enemies, own worst enemies. And from that experience, it affected me so much that I decided I do not want to get married to a Kenyan guy. Because I'll always have to be explaining why I have this child. I'm not going to throw my child away just because I have him. I'm not going to throw my kid away. Yeah, my kid is going to be part of my life, and I'm going to marry a person who is going to appreciate me with my child. And I knew for sure it would not be a Kenyan man. Certainly not. I was very sure. Just because of our culture. Our culture is so mean to mothers with children. So unkind. So I thought, no, I'm not going to go through this. Yeah. So guys, what happened is, eventually, my husband and I, we met in Tunisia. We got a contract, strangely enough. And then we met in Tunisia. And he was supposed to be my translator. He did a very amazing job. It was all a big risk because I didn't know this person. Put him on the contract. He came, delivered. Yani, now I was falling in love with this man again. Just because of his smarts. So smart, because I was dealing with the parliament of Tunisia. So I'm dealing with people at the highest level of government. And he is a person I'm working with who is so intelligent, so smart. We're working for a German company and he's, we were completely professional. It was completely professional because I wasn't going to play games with my contract, But it was so nice to meet him finally. That's how we met. So we met there in a hotel in Tunisia. And then he said he's not going to go back to Morocco. He's going to follow me to Kenya. So we came through Dubai, spent a night in Dubai, had a good time, met up with my Kenyan friend there, and then came down to Mombasa. And while we were in Mombasa, guess what? I got another call to go and do some work on behalf of an organization that also required Joseph's skills in French. That this was in Rwanda now. So we had to travel to Rwanda together. So we traveled to Rwanda. You know, when God wants something to happen, let me tell you, he lines up the stuff. Things just get aligned. And before you know it, while he was there, like for about the second month he was there, because he came to Nairobi in January, end of January. By February, we were in Rwanda, working, him as a translator, and interpreter, translator, and me as the evaluator on behalf now of something to do with East African community. So let me tell you, God is amazing. And from there, then I had to go. You won't believe what happened. After that, while we were still together with him in Mombasa, I got another contract that was now taking me to Morocco. Can you believe? That's some things, you know, he was supposed to go back to Morocco to finish off or to wind up. And then I got called for a contract that was taking me to Morocco, Egypt, and South Africa, and Vienna, Austria. All those 4 countries. So I told him, no problem, you go to Morocco, I'm going to meet you there. So I got a chance to go to Morocco. I tell you the way God lined things up. So what happened is, not only did I go to Morocco to work, but I ended up we went to Morocco, we worked with my team. From Vienna, went to Vienna, Austria, then came through Morocco, went down to Egypt, went down to South Africa, and then and Ghana, and then went back to Vienna. And after that, it just sounds like a fairy tale. After that, I decided, let's have our honeymoon in Morocco. So we did. We had our honeymoon in Morocco. And after that, I got more contracts. I think 2 more contracts in Morocco. So there he is. When he went back to Morocco, he got a job with Media House. Because while he was in Kenya, he couldn't get papers. You know, the immigration, how difficult they are. So he got a job with a French media house. And, you know, he now had a good job working as a reporter and as a journalist, actually, with the French media house in Morocco. So I kept going back to Morocco every year. I would go to Morocco, see him, and he would also come to Nairobi. He came to Kenya also for some time. And then after that, when we saw that things were not working for Kenya, we decided now to come to the UK. And this is how it all happened. And this is where we are now. You see, now he came to the UK, now the children are here, and now I'm here. And this is how it happens, you know. So it hasn't been easy, guys. It has not been easy. But do you know, it's been fun. So fun. My life with my husband is really interesting because I spend a lot of time. The good thing with being married a bit older is that Joseph is very keen to make sure that, and I'm too, him being a refugee at some point, you know, meant that many of his goals were delayed. He was not able to, he had to stop education in the middle. He had to do things in the middle. So I had to give him time to also go and achieve some of those things that he had not managed to complete. You know, the things that the devil steals from you. The devil steals your time and it's a terrible thing. So what I decided, instead of getting angry and, you know, getting upset about the fact that he's so preoccupied with trying to recover lost time and things like that when he came to the UK, I encouraged him. And now he's like one of the best Welsh speakers. He speaks, not only does he speak Welsh, which is quite a difficult language, but he's teaching it. Right now he's teaching Welsh. He teaches Welsh at the university. He's also teaching at a college. Just got a job now with a college where he's teaching Welsh. So I'm very proud of my hubby because he's really hardworking and he's self-made, self-taught, self-made. And then also he has gotten a lot of recognition in this country. So many people know about him. He's featured in the newspapers. He's featured many places. So this guy, my hubby's going places. That's what I was telling him. You're going to go places in this life. So my job is just to sit here and support him to be the father that he wants to be, the provider he wants to be. And then for me also to try to see what I'm going to do with myself, because now this is like motherhood part 2. Meanwhile, my son, who is now all grown up, living in the US and working a good job, and he's comfortable there. He's in his early 30s. And I'm very happy. I'm very happy that I made this decision. That's the reason why I say, if you guys want to have a new life, you can. It's your choice. It's all within you. Yeah. And you don't have to worry about even your looks or anything, because what matters is what's inside here. You can't be perfect. Things are not perfect because, as probably you know, my husband is slightly younger than I am anyway. Yeah, he is. And I'm okay with that. I'm quite okay with it. That was the only thing that we had to contend with. The thing is, it's okay. I don't mind. He doesn't mind. We get along here. That's what matters. If we get along here at the mind level, then that's okay. And the best thing is that he doesn't judge me. I don't judge him either. Yeah, and that's it. The kids also don't seem to mind. You know, for them, children just need love. They just need someone who's going to love them. They don't care. Okay, so my chapatis are here. They're ready to be rolled. And I think we're going to end it right there, guys, because I want to now start finishing. I want to finish cooking. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my story, how my husband and I met online, and, you know, just to ask you about your views about marriage. What are your views about marriage? We've now been married 8.5 years, because we got married in 2014 and in April. So it's been 8.5 years. It's just amazing how time flies. And I thank God, because I believe I made the right choice for myself. Everybody has to make the right choice for them. Yeah. There's no one person that fits all. But if you get one person that you're getting along with, somebody who respects you, somebody who respects themselves, I think that's okay. But you can't expect perfection, because there's nobody who's perfect. I'm not perfect, neither is my hubby, and nobody will ever be perfect. So right now, in this space and at this time, this is the person that God gave me. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful. And I believe he is too. So I think all I can say is that for you ladies who want to get married in your 40s, because that's when I got married in my late 40s, please just go ahead and do it. You know, just go register online. Get ready to meet people. What did I do to prepare for marriage? I had to create space for somebody to come into my life. Really, because there's a point that I had kind of blocked, because I had lost a baby, I had lost a relationship. So I'd kind of like blocked. And I said, no. I have to open up, and I have to allow God just to show me the right person for me. And that's it. Just create the space. And the same thing with Joseph. I think he had to do the same thing, because he was older. When he met me, he was in the late 30s, almost 40. So, and I was in my late 40s. I was in my late 40s. He was in the late 30s. So, you know, both of us were not young people. Yeah. So he had to create that space. He had been single for a long time, and so had I. So each of us had already grown our horns, and we'd already wanted to do things our way. And sometimes we clash that way, but rarely, because we recognize it. We know what it is, yeah. So just be patient with one another, and it's nice to have company. It's nice to have a companion, someone that you can talk to. So makes even living in a country like this one much easier, yeah. So okay, guys, we'll talk. I'm going to try to see if I can bring him on at some point. He doesn't like talking relationship stuff. He thinks it's kind of like childish, or I don't know what he thinks it is. But I always tell him, you know, he should talk about it, because relationship is the foundation of society. Family is the foundation of society. And relationships help to improve our quality of life. So if you are in a relationship, if you're in a marriage right now, and maybe things are kind of rocky and difficult, sometimes you can take a sabbatical and take some time off. Or you can just decide to go and pray about it, or talk to somebody who values marriage. Again, I'll never overemphasize the importance of having the right kind of people around you when you're married, because sometimes you can have the wrong kinds of friends who can really discourage you from your marriage. When things are going bad, they discourage you based on what they would do. They'll tell you what to do. So, me, what I say is, you just do you. That's all. Just do you. Do you. And don't give up. Okay, guys. So I love you very much. Take care. I hope that you enjoyed that chat with me. I'm going to see a lot about me, and I'm going to try and bring him on board at some point. Yeah, he'll get comfortable with it at some point. So thanks very much. Love you guys. Bye. To-do. Please like and share this video. Bye-bye.
Yeah, look at them. Wow.